Happy Saturday, boys and girls. My name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell, and I'm coming to you live on the Memorex. Live on Memorex. From an undisclosed location. You can tell by I'm wearing my G-pad. If you pay attention to this, and quite frankly, if you do pay attention that much and notice the hat and where I'm at, that might frighten me, to be honest. Anyway, alternate weekend route. Let me start off by saying and acknowledging that I know it's too hot to be out here. It's like 11 o'clock, 11:30-ish, and it's already 89 degrees. It's gonna get hotter. Now, where I live at in the valley, it gets hot. It does get hot in the valley, notoriously hot, especially compared to the west side and Santa Monica and the beach areas that damn near stay at 70 all the time. And that's probably why, as I think about it, that is prime real estate. And I don't want to say that that's where all the white people are gonna live, because it don't get too hot. White folks ain't going for all this heat, this super African Negro heat. Cotton picking in the South, we used to it heat. The valley gets that way. Valley can easily be 10, 15 degrees warmer. Shoot, sometimes 20 degrees warmer than the coast and warmer than downtown, etc. But out here in the Inland Empire, it also gets hot in the deserty way. And I say in a deserty way because it's dry. You can breathe. The air is hot, but you can breathe. Not like humidity back in the East or Midwest, where you feel like you can't breathe and you just sweat all the time. You get out of the shower, you sweat. It's like, what's the use? What am I doing this for? But I'm a fan of humidity, especially at night. Here, last night, it stayed warm because California, if you ask me, it gets cold at night. Of course, I'm over exaggerating by saying the word cold, but the temperature drops at night. Whereas in Ohio, you can sit on the porch all night long, just be as comfortable, looking at the lightning bugs, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what we are, that's what we're doing. I wonder if I took the havoc off. I don't know if I took the havoc off of this or not. I gotta check that. I meant to take the HEVC compression off because I didn't like the way the computer, when I went to splice two videos, video I made in OBS and a video I made in this app while I'm walking. It kept crashing. I couldn't do it. It wouldn't process right. I wonder if I might need to refresh my desktop. Reset it to factory settings and reinstall all the apps. You should do that every now and then. But we'll see. Or what I meant to do is check it on my laptop to see if the same thing happens. That's what I would do. In fact, I could do that today. I got my laptop. Of course, the way I have my networking computer set up, I have access to pretty much all my data all the time, no matter where I'm at. Sure, the speeds at which I'd like to access and utilize that data is strained because I'm going over the internet to get it on my, for my computers at home, quote unquote, acting like servers. But you know, you can get it, worst case scenario. Gigabyte file, whatever, just download it. You know, if it's too big, just let it download and run all night. In fact, I've done backups. I've shot lots of video, HD video, gigabytes and gigabytes of backup over the internet. I just let this son bitch run for a day. I just let it run. You know, I'm just let it run all day long. And it, you know, it saves all the pictures, and like if I'm in Ohio, all the pictures and video I took. Not only do I have a hard drive there that I keep a copy of everything on, I can save it to there, because the idea is to always have more than one copy of it. You know, always get it so that you have more than one copy. Because the saying is, if you don't have your data backed up 3 times, you don't have it backed up. So, and like, as soon as I like to always have at least more than one copy. And so I could copy a local copy to the drive I keep back there, and I'll run that back up across the internet. The computer just sitting there, you know. So just let it run. Come back, see how far it got. I'm not ready to use the cloud yet, but I can see that's coming close. I can see that the technology is getting better, and I become more familiar with it, and more. It looks like I'll probably end up using the cloud. And one thing about the cloud that I kind of like is that there's a limit on how much you can have there, and this will force me to keep it clean. You know, even though I shoot video on my phone, it's in that now. You know, over time, almost not instantly, but a few hours, it gets backed up to the cloud, and I got a backup copy of it. And that's a very secure backup copy. And so I wouldn't have to worry about running home and uploading. But actually what I would do is I would sync it so that as soon as I take a picture, whatever, it automatically get back to the cloud. And then the cloud will automatically save it to my computers at home. So that might be more efficient, you know, anyway. So we gotta, you know, look at all that and get that set up and get the sync. Cause I got OneDrive going, and I got Dropbox, and I got Google, I got all these different cloud, this and that offerings. And to get them synced, Microsoft, the OneDrive really goes into your computer and does stuff. It really gets aggressive and wants to back up this and back up that. It changes the way your files are saved, the location of them, this and that. And then all of a sudden you go to your OneDrive and you got 3 computers being backed up to it. And the idea is to sync them all, but you got to work that situation. And that's probably what I should do. Versus just sit down, work it all out, get it nice and straight, so that across all my computers, I have the same set of files and saved to the cloud, which is backed up. So no matter what computer I get on, it'll match exactly what all the computers are the same. So all the files will be where they're supposed to be. Not just the files are supposed to be, configuration and how you save them. And the files I save on my laptop will be immediately available on my phone and on my desktop, quote unquote, immediately. You know, all that stuff. I'm into that. I mean, just, you know, come on. That's part of it. That is part of it. That is part of it. So far, so good. As far as so far so good as far as the heat. It's kind of breezy, and I'm actually trying to walk and stay in the shade as much as possible, you know, without going completely crazy about it. Like, I could probably walk that way and walk all along that strip mall, but would it be worth walking that far, you know, to save that just to be in the shade. Because I used to be a sun person till I got older. And the sun started taking its toll. I couldn't handle it as much. I used to never wear a hat, never wore sunglasses. Just to be like, and had a convertible. But all that, and I was like, I gotta at least start wearing a hat. So now I almost can't go nowhere without my baseball hat. And the same thing happened with glasses. Back in the day when Tone Lokes was out, those dark glasses, Easy E and all them wearing them dark glasses. Started wearing them, and it got to the point I couldn't go outside without them. It was too bright to go outside without them. I said, no, we ain't doing this. I don't want that. I don't want that. Of course, this is probably a better way to handle it. And it probably is a better way to handle it. And it's probably more healthy for me to wear sunglasses. But hey, you know, different strokes, different folks. And my eyes are definitely changing. And as the optometrist told me years ago, as she matter-of-factly said, yeah, okay, And she just so matter-of-factly noticed changes in my eyes, like they were expected, like, okay, yeah. Like she was letting me know that over time, this is what's gonna happen. It happens to everybody pretty much across the board, so, you know, don't be surprised or something like that. Well, she didn't say don't be surprised, but she just kind of matter-of-factly, you know, said, oh, yeah, okay. Like it goes like a, And I'm like, all right. And I'm due for another prescription. And it seems my prescriptions change from year to year, too. I remember when I first got glasses, too, boy. Oh, my God. Because at night, things were blurry driving on the road. It was hard for me to judge distance. I remember when I first got my first pair of glasses, I still got that pair. And I put them things on. And I looked at the optometrist girl, assistant, whatever, and she was so beautiful. I mean, not that she was beautiful, but seeing her so clear, I was like, oh my God, I don't ever want this to not be. I don't ever want to go back to where it was before. Ever since that day, I started wearing glasses. And then I had to go to bifocals. And I lived by them. And I got a pair of computer glasses where the viewing range is farther out. It's all computer. So if I like look across the room, it'll be blurry. But if I look right there where the computer is, it's like real sharp. And it's farther than my arm's distance. So if I have something in my hand and I look at it, the glasses are set to focus farther than that. So that's where that gets weird. And if I'm trying to read something in my hand, my glasses want to focus on something maybe 1.5 feet past that. So that's out of focus. But when I look up at my computer screens at work or at home, it's like beautiful. It's like perfect. And I can see the whole thing, and I don't gotta adjust my glasses or move them up my head or anything. So that's nice. Looks like I missed the light. Looks like I missed the light. I'm gonna go stand in the shade. See, as much as I can, I'm gonna stand in the shade. Just to take that off, you know, just get as much shade time as possible, because it's gonna be hot. There's no way around it. It's gonna be hot. And we gonna sweat. Did I tell you I woke up at 198.2 this morning? Or really almost afternoon, because I laid in the bed out here. I laid in the bed, you know, for a couple hours past my usual 9 o'clock, like 11. So I didn't really get out till like 11:30. Game is at 4. I got NFL Plus last night, tested it out, and Got it installed on my TV. The app seems to be better. One thing too about the NFL app, it seems like the password is, they got a technology on the password I saw in the NFL that where you don't even have to put a password in, it'll use your biometrics right off. So really there's no password. I guess you just get a pass key and use your biometrics, your fingerprint. So I got an my NFL account, because I signed up with my Google email and not my main email to get it $10 off. Because I went to sign up for NFL Plus under my regular name, under my main computer, under my main email, and they wanted $49. But as a new subscriber or something, I can get it for $39, $49 without it. Because you sign up, the trial thing is you sign up, you get the first year for $39, then when you go back to get it again, it goes right to $49. I'm like, nope. As many email addresses as I got, nope. So I signed up with my Gmail account, and I didn't have to put a password in. It's straight biometrics and created a pass key. So that's nice. So they're like, there's really no password to remember. As long as that technology can stand, and it looked like it held up in the app and the internet browser on the phone. So that's cool, that's cool. I should probably turn the brightness down on this, because see if I can turn the brightness down. Because it's gonna get hot. It's gonna get hot. See, I'm gonna turn it on. Oh, there we go. Oh boy. All right, so it stopped. That means I'm gonna have to splice this one when I get back home. So we'll find out how I have it set up. I'm gonna leave the setting the way it is, so that all of these videos will be the same. And we'll splice them and see how that works. Splice, yeah, splice is the word. Combine them. That wasn't necessary. You could have just moved over. It was all of that. You had the whole road next to you, dog. Homie walking up the street. He on the side. He in the street, but he kind of on the side. So, can you see him? I don't know if you can see him or not. Resolution is up a little, so you should be able to see something. So here we are. And this right here, 11:55, I need to turn that alarm on. That was the alarm I set. I get back after my walking so early, I'll sit in the chair and eat breakfast and damn near try to take a nap. Just try to relax. And relax my neck and my head, which is not hurting right now, which I'm thankful for. This is Deal Hunters. Don't look like it's open, but they have a whole bunch of tables of stuff that look like they fall off a truck from Amazon or wherever. And everything on these tables is different prices on different days. Monday's $2, Thursday's $10. So I guess they do their big dump on Thursday, and everything on the table is $10. Then the price goes down as the week goes on. So it's fun to go in there and scavenge. I've gotten some junk there before. And I've gotten some junk that turned out to be something. Actually, it was fun to play, but I got a light by Newer, Neewer, or whatever that brand that I be seeing pop up that I thought was like a cheap, but I keep seeing it pop up. I got a light from them. I took it. I was wondering how it worked, how you put a battery. And it just so happens it takes the same Sony battery that my cameras take. So I just happen to have a big heavy duty battery from years ago that I used to have on my Sony Handycam. I think my TR480, no, the 480 was a good one. One of the older analog ones. It didn't even do digital. My first camera I got, my sister bought it for me. It was a good investment for her. My sister bought it for me, and I started taking pictures. And it's a good investment for her because I got a lot of her daughter. A lot. You know, so I got her daughter documented, a lot of videos and stuff. Plus, you know, a lot of stuff I was doing. And I even got the first video ever shot with that camera saved. And I got all the tapes organized. Years and years. And the girl 23 years old, so that was like 23 years ago. So that's fun. You know? That's fun. It's hot, but it's not hot. At least not yet. And this walk that I'm doing now is the longest one I do. The longest standard walk. I just have a set, you know, path or route on this from destination. I walk all the way down to Hunt Street and turn around. And it comes out to about 13,000. And this walk has killed me before. I've been out here, you know, empty stomach, not hydrated, in the heat. And a couple of times I had to stop and pause because it really beat me up. It took a lot out of me. But it felt good to accomplish and to get home afterwards. But it was still, you know, I probably pushed it too much. And I probably get stopped and turn around at a certain place. You know, I could just walk till I get to 5,000 steps. You know, maybe 5,200 steps and just turn around. And get my 10,000 in. But, you know, once I get walking and once I get out here, I want to complete the task, so to speak. Trying to figure out the best way to carry this. I don't want to carry this. Angles and whatnot. Not that it matters, does it? Does it? See, I'm holding the stick pretty straight. I'll show you how close I am now to it. This is where I'm at now. This is where I'm holding it. I've seen people shoot video like that before. Oh, I got a burr in my sock. See, that's why I be wearing them shields. This is a good one too. Jesus Christ. This is a good one. Fuck. Look at that. See it? You see it? Oh. You see it? Look at that. You see that? I don't know if you can, but this is the damn thing right there. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it out here. That should hurt. Not hurt, but you know. You know, not hurt, but you know. It was something. So, that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. That's who we are. Thinking I'm gonna stop this and just start it again later. Since I gotta splice them anyway. Get ready for the game. I'm excited. I'm excited about my Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm excited about my Pittsburgh Steelers for sure. Our defense should be really good. Our secondary should be good. If our secondary is good, and we got TJ Watt and Highsmith on the edges, and Cam Hayward in the middle, and we got Patrick Queen, linebacker, we should be okay on defense. The offense has always been our problem. But with Aaron Rodgers and Arthur Smith, hopefully we can get some innovation And it's hard for me to believe or accept. It's probably hard for me to accept and believe that the personnel, the NFL personnel, limited the offensive creativity. It's just hard for me to believe that certain people are incapable of accomplishing certain things. Even though I live by that creed and I endorse it to the point that I might be a bigot or a racist, it's still hard for me to believe that, what do you mean you can't run this offense because so-and-so is in there? Another thing that's hard for me to believe is how they say somebody is just not good. Like Mason Rudolph, people just call him a bum, he's no good, he'll never be this, how they just can just instantly, I mean, it's so widespread that there has to be something to it. But so many people can just say, oh, he's just a backup. You know, oh, he's just a backup, he'll never be a starter, he'll never be good enough to be that. I'm like, the things I've seen humans do and accomplish, how can you even, say that with how much belief? On any given Sunday is one thing, but just people could evolve and change and do this and do that. I don't understand how they can just say, oh, he's a backup, he'll never be a starter. I mean, people learn, people change. They can find Jesus or some kind of meditation or something like that and, become a different person, different capability, different player, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I never, even though I do that, no, I don't do it. I just like the stereotype. I just like cultural stereotypes. Of course, it's, largely cut along race, but it's mostly culture. Because you got white people who are hicks, white people who are ghetto, white people who are rich and bougie, so you really can't say it's white people. It's different classes of white people. Black people too. There are some generalities that are fun to play with when you talk about races as a whole, and you can refer to them as a monolith in the pinch just to get your point across, even though it's understood that, nothing is absolute or 100%. Whew. Yeah, I'm getting there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a Motel 6 down there. Go a little bit past that, and I can see the Motel 6 sign, so that gives me inspiration. I can actually look and actually see the light where I turn around, or at least one of them. I'm not sure how far down it goes, but I feel good. I feel good. Still trying to figure what I want to eat. Now, I'm gonna tell you something else. I'm gonna probably end up start eating some of that 7-Eleven food. Them wings was looking good. And they was like 10 for $10 or something like that. Them wings was looking good. And that pizza, I've had it before, it's not bad. Walk in the 7-Eleven. Jeffery, you just want some meaty wings? You want them quick? The best way is if I can find some frozen or whatever and learn how to do it myself. I guess the best way would be for me to learn how to cook them from scratch and be able to get that right texture and that right coating and that right flavoring. That would be the ultimate. Deep fry them, or even air fry them or bake them or whatever. Because I do like my wings. I do like the way they come out when they're baked and not crispy, more baked-ish, but because I had some wings that had the coating, they had breading and sauce, and they tasted like they were baked. And I know where it's from. I remember they were so good. They're from Brazos, downtown LA. We got the pizza and the wings. I might go back there. I might go back there on my own. But we get it so much at work. Maybe buy it too at work. So. In fact, last Wednesday, they ordered, what did we get? I forgot what it was. But it was okay. No, yeah, we got individual pizzas. And it was fancy. You know, we had to order a certain kind. So I got spicy or something. It was like limited specialty pizzas. You couldn't just say black olives, this or that. You know, you had to like get their specialty thing. And, you know, and it's definitely quality food. You know, more quality than I usually buy. Definitely, I don't want to say quality, but just quality food. You can taste it. The workmanship, the wood fry. You know, the way the vegetables, the way the toppings went together. This whole thing is just well done, you know. But it was basically too fancy. Brazos was just like that good old-fashioned New York style pizza. It'd be dripping in grease, and you gotta roll it to eat it. Like you get off the street. Did I say that? Street pizza. You know, that's Brazos, and I was like, that pizza better. And they had them wings, oh my God. Like, I should Google to see if there's a Brazo out here. Because I gotta start thinking about what I'm gonna eat for the game. I gotta figure out what I want. My mother made mussels and cabbage, and she had the house guests, or whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call them, staying there, the friend of the family. No, my niece's sister. Let's put it that way. Don't turn into a detective and try to figure it out. My niece's sister. And don't go too far being nosy in our business. You know, so she's staying there, helping out at night. And as far as that goes, people aren't the same. People are different. People are very, very different. Families are different. Structure, the way you raise, how you raise, what went into you really, really matters. It makes a difference. Because you can see these two people who grew up, not side by side, but the same age, kind of roughly in the same, but they got the same daddy, put it that way. They got the same daddy, and they're roughly the same thing, but one is just completely one way, and the other one is just completely the other way. Let me just leave it at that. And the one that we raised is damn near perfect. It's almost, well, I'm sure she got a shortcoming. She needs to be a little bit sensitive about things. You know, probably need to be a fighter more aggressive, you know, more mean, more able to cut this off, cut that off. But she can stand up for herself, but you know, they're young. You know, she's a girl and she's young. And my sister kind of sensitive too, as opposed to some of the other folks in our family who's hard as rocks. The women in my family is tough. They tougher than the men. Now the men do stuff now, don't get me wrong. The men is out there, but not too many men marry into this family because the women are so strong, just incredibly strong. Somebody doing their pedicure. Get that pedicure done. Yeah, you get some of that out here, and it's hot too, so you know, you definitely gonna get some. It's hot, so you definitely gonna get some of that. People they gotta protect themselves from the weather, from the heat, from the sun. Some people say it's sad. And it probably is sad to see people in that condition. But, you know, as I've heard before, and I credit Adam Carolla, these things just don't happen overnight. You had to burn a lot of bridges to get up on the street, you know, because everybody has multiple opportunities. And that means you basically have exhausted all your opportunities and all your options. And now you're at where your own family don't want to take you in or can't take you in. And not only that, it's I wouldn't quite call it a choice, but I'm sure some people would rather live that way than, you know, under somebody else's house or guidance or under somebody else's roof. Because I've said before a few times, I'll sleep under a bridge before I have to be under somebody else's, not rule or command or anything, but you know. Be under somebody's jurisdiction or whatever, be beholden to somebody. I was like, I'd rather sleep under a bridge, be nasty and dirty, than to be in your house and have to do this and do that, be here and be there, do that. That's what I say. And as I've gotten older and I've compromised, got to the point where I built my own space, where I'm very, very, very not used to compromising for so long, for decades. You know, it'll be very difficult for me to be in a situation to where I need to rely on somebody, I need to depend on somebody, or need to follow somebody else's rules. Hell, I might even be able, hard for me to be in a normal relationship to have the certain compromises for that. Nah, I don't know. You know, I mean, to a degree, because there's a benefit. You know, there's a benefit. There's an opportunity cost to the cost benefit to, you know, giving in here to gain that. And there's a balance. There's a balance. So, you know. All right, here we are. Coming up, well, we got a little bit of ways to go before I get to the turnaround point. So, yeah, I'm gonna stop this and start it. Here's where it starts to hurt. Here's where it starts to hurt a little bit. It hurts, but that hurt feels good. And as you walk, it starts to hurt, and you start to feel the pain in your body and the sweat and the tiredness. But then you're also energized by the fact that you can see you're getting closer to the end, you're getting closer to the finish. And you know you've done this before, you're not too much worried about it. But a couple of times I've been out here doing this with too many clothes on and too much heat, and felt like I was gonna pass out. At least one time for sure, I was at Rouse, taking the alternate Rouse route. And I got to Rouse, I was so worn out and tired and in discomfort or whatever, and sweating so much I couldn't even go in the store. I had to go home. A couple of times I had to sit down. And back there I was standing in that shade, nice breeze, that felt so good. But I knew I didn't want to stand there too long and get used to it. Because, and then I always say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get home, and when I get some time or whatever, you know, change clothes, whatever, and come back out here, or go to a place to just sit. And I never do. I got a chair in the car, so I can just go to a park. You know, I already probably gonna have my camera, my selfie stick, my mic, so I can, you know, do a little something, take my laptop or whatever and just really do something. and just sit in the shade and let the breeze blow by me and just chill. But I never do that. And a couple of times I wish I could just I just want to sit at the bus stop and chill out. And not so much because I was tired, but I've been a little tired, but just to take in the vibe and watch the people go by. And just because sometimes the weather's so pleasant, you're just like, yeah. And I never do. As soon as I get back, the chain of things to do or events starts going. Either that or I get lazy and don't want to do nothing. So we'll see how it goes today. So I feel energized, I feel good. My head and nose isn't hurting. So I feel really good, feel energized. I know my Steelers are coming on. I'm getting my steps in, my weight is down. I could very possibly come back today with the lowest weight I've had in a very, very long time. At least I should, as much as I think I'm sweating. And because it's later in the day, et cetera, et cetera. Thinking what I want to eat for the game. Probably go to Cha-Cha's and get a burrito. But just get a burrito and no guacamole and chips. Because their guacamole ain't that good. It's runny. It's almost like a liquid. You can damn near drink it. Put it in a cup and drink it. Not chunky at all. But the burritos, and I found out that burritos, all it is green chili sauce. Green whatever kind of sauce you could buy in the store. I bought some in the store. I put it on something I made. I was like, this is the exact taste. This is the exact same thing. They ain't doing nothing special. but wetting my burrito with the right stuff. I was also thinking, Ohio is a picture of me, Sharon North, and Kim Castro. I might have been one or two. I might have been one or two. Sharon the same age as I am, she might have been one or two. Kim is like a year older than us or so. We just stand there holding hands, look at all like kids. And I hadn't seen that picture. I don't remember seeing that picture. My father had it. And, so I was going through all those pictures, I ran across it. And I grew up with Sharon. Sharon grew up on the street over from me, but I met her I formally met her, at St. Pat's, when we went to St. Pat's. In fact, she sat behind me during religion class. I sat behind her during religion class. So, we had some back and forth. We definitely had I wouldn't quite say relationship, but I guess technically it was, relationship. Relationship is anything, But, we had some interaction, that's the word, on a larger scale. And I think in homeroom, she sat behind me. In 7th or 8th grade or something like that. So, I knew her. Then I was just thinking the other day about, I think Will Donato, trumpet player, one of those kind of smooth jazz trumpet players, real expressive and flamboyant. I told Kim, I said, because we were sitting there at the Catalina Bar and Grill, Sharon performed. This thing is, you see a picture of us three, 1 and 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, whatever, and then 50 years later, I'm sitting there with her, and we watching Sharon perform in California. That's kind of cool. If you really stop and think about it. And like I said, the picture was there. The picture was taken. My father took the picture because Sharon lived across the street. Sharon and Kim was like best friends since they was little. And Kim was like my father's first wife in-law relation, something like that. So we used to always go down there, and visit the people, the boys that lived there. And Kim lived there. She was always a little bit too staunchy and uppity for me. She was too much of a girl, and You know, really, I didn't get it. You know, she didn't want to play. You know, she had a canopy bed. You know, always dressed up and refined. And to come to find out, her whole family is like that. And my father's first wife was like that. And that fit with my father. Because the question always been, how the hell did he end up with my mother? How the hell did he end up with my mother? I saw the pictures of my father's first wife and their wedding. It was like a royal wedding and everything laid out nice, and it was in the paper. And they were, you know, a young couple. He was IRS, she was nurse, aspiring, just, you know, she died of breast cancer or cancer or something. And I always wonder what kind of effect that had to have on my father in the long run. You know, I always wonder, because he never talked about it. Hell, I didn't even know who, in fact, recently, maybe 5, 10, 6, 7 years ago, I asked Kim Cashwell, I said, who are you? Why do I know you? And she said, your father never explained it to you? I was like, nope, it was none of my business. She said, he put it's none of my business. She explained who my father's first wife was in relation to her. I think my father's first wife was her mother's sister or something like that. Something like that. So, you know, then to be sitting there seeing Sharon Noah perform at the Catalina Bar and Grill, sitting next to Kim, you know. But 50 years, 2,000 miles later, 2,000 miles away and later, you know, it's a life. That's the life that that's my experience of life. That's kind of how my life has been. That's how I see life as being. You know, that's pretty much how I believe it goes. It's just the way it has always been for me. To have those kind of connections just, you know, in the background there somewhere, just hanging around, just, it's almost like part of the landscape. No big deal, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, you know so-and-so? Oh yeah, you been here? Oh yeah, you done this? Oh yeah. It's like my granddaughter, you know. She's getting the benefit of all that went into me, that went into my father, that went into her mother. So at age 3, we put on her stuff that, you know, we might not have experienced until we were a lot older. Because now we're capable of doing these things. You know, the generation before us became capable of doing such things, like living in a white neighborhood, living in this neighborhood, going to decent schools. I mean, the real stuff, or just even traveling, going to hotels, you know, leisurely stuff. It's no big deal. Like, for like when my niece was growing up, my niece coming up, you know, me, her uncle, was traveling all over the world. So she used to seeing somebody, oh yeah, my uncle, he went to Moscow. Oh yeah, my uncle in Paris. You ever been, and she 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, I'd be like, you ever been to Paris? Well, let me tell you. I'll be straight putting it on her too. And see, now she, you know, she's smart, she went to school. And now she in New York on a teaching assignment for 6, 7, 8 weeks or whatever. You know, just to have that exposure. You know, she used to go to big concerts, Rolling Loud, the big, giant, huge festivals where when you get there so early and you gotta have the energy to get there so many hours early, you get that front row seat where you can't leave for hours and hours. You know, she got the energy for that. So she did all that stuff. You know, she know Vegas. She know how to, you know, do this, do that. It's like I tried to teach my kids as much as I could, you know, about, you know, expose them to stuff so they get used to it. You know, my daughter especially soaked it up. My son is more of a do it as a group, somebody do it for me. He's so used to having things done for him, and we blame his mother, and we really can't blame her because that's just her personality. And I told her recently, I told her before, if I do have any regrets in my life, any, I said I wasn't there to get between her and the kids because she spoiled them. She did too much. Somebody needed to get in between them, and I was the only person who could have done that. They ran over everybody else that came through there. You know, whether she married him or not. They ran him over. And they beat up on me some, but the Clarence Mitchell, the father in me, the legacy in me, my mother, how I was raised in my family, you know, it wasn't gonna happen to me. I'm not gonna let that happen. I would die. I would have to die. Like they said, Marvin Gaye's father killed him. But they said Marvin Gaye wanted to die because Marvin Gaye knew that if he did this certain thing, his father was gonna take him out. He said he knew if he pushed him that far, you know, whether it was drugs or whatever was going on. He said Marvin Gaye knew. If he pushed him that far, his father was gonna have to take him out. And I completely understand that. I completely understand that. It's like some things I just can't live with. Some things I can't live with. So for some reason, the idea of my kids disrespecting me at a certain level, it almost makes me feel like I'm a failure, a complete failure. And I don't think I'd be able to stand it. Or at least I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure it don't happen. Man, it's instinctive. I remember the only time I really had to put my hands on my kids, spank them or whatever. You know, I smack my leg every now and then, but one time I was talking to kids doing something, they was like, you know, geeked up off of sugar or whatever, playing around doing this, and I'm trying to talk to them. And Jeffery up there, just making fun and making faces at me and like clowning me. Before I even knew it, I was, boom, punched you right in this chest. I didn't even think. I didn't even think. It just, I was like, boom. Something in me said, no. This, no. And I went on to explain to them both afterwards. And ever since that moment, and they might have been 5 or 6 or whatever, ever since that moment, you know, I instilled that. I was the man. You know, they mess with me, they do this, they do that, but you know, they knew we had understanding that this is my position, this is yours. And I remember looking up and seeing the look on Kimberly's face. She was like, literally, because I guess nobody had did that before to them. You know, they was probably used to getting away with whatever they wanted to with whoever, whatever male figure, because they knew their mother was a maniac. It would kill everybody if something was to go sideways with her kids, even if she thought it went sideways. Because at one time, I ended up going to jail over me and her fighting. It was clear, very clear, that she was gonna do whatever she thought about to me and to anybody around her and worry about the consequences later. It was just evident that, you know, I better watch out because this one is off the hinges. You know, it's at that point where, you know, there's nothing rational or practical about it. It's, you know, something clicked and they took me to jail. And she broke in my house, tore apart my clothes, tore up my car, cut my tires after I was in jail, all that, you know, stuff you go through. Stuff you go through in life. In fact, I went through it a couple times, or I would say not a lot, but enough to know that it's almost expected. It's almost expected. And that's also, I was thinking about my last relationship was so smooth and so congenial. We never argued, barely disagreed on stuff, just got along perfectly. There was no conflict. And I kind of missed it. I was like, if I was to give her advice, you know, even though it's not her nature, I would say be a little bit more disruptive, be a little bit more conflict. You know, that's just kind of how I guess we raised in America for our relationships. You gotta have a little bit of crazy in it, a little bit of disruption or some kind of what the hell in it. You know, me and her didn't have none. We just got along completely from the very beginning. And I don't think she's a pushover. We just understood. We had a good understanding of it. Also, there was no expectations placed on it. You know, we were there every day, talked every day with each other and stuff, but there was no expectation. So as far as that part, you know, I officially wasn't relied on for nothing, and she officially wasn't relied on for nothing. So that part made a big difference. That part made a big difference on how we approached each other. Whereas if you're in a situation where you rely on the other person, or you got stake in them, or you're worried about this, or you're worried about that, who they with, you don't worry about all that bullshit, you know, it makes it a little different. But either way, you know, we got along. You know, it was good. One of the best relationships I ever had. I had some good relationships too. I've had good relationships. Even the quote unquote, is that Tori? That better. Hey! Hey! Tori! Is this what you do? Is this what you do? Oh my God, is this you? Look, everybody, here's Tori. Is this what you do? You be out here all like this? Oh, so you that person? Okay. Huh?
You got a tripod.
Yeah, I first you by podcast. See, I be like this.
That's so fun.
Yeah, so she was podcast.
Hi.
And my documentary. So okay, so now where you going?
I'm going to do a music video.
Okay. Oh, okay.
My own.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Where at?
In LA.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
like at a park.
Oh, really?
Yes.
All right. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Wow. Okay. I was like, who was that?
I know.
I was like, it was I'm your dancer on and see what you expect. Shit, it's gonna be a lot of people calling you. There's gonna be a lot of people stopping and pulling over and whatnot.
I'm sick.
Yeah. All right, well, enjoy it. It's hot.
Yeah, make sure you stay cool.
Oh, I'm good. I'm gonna go home and chill.
Fine.
All right. You coming back tonight?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll be here. How's my mother doing? Damn, I don't answer that question. All right. All right. Be good. Woo! See, I ain't used to seeing people when I walk out here. I ain't used to seeing people. I'm like, looking. I'm like, who was that? Oh my God. That's the life. See, and this is the life. That's the person I was talking about earlier. That's the person I was talking about earlier. And if you see that person, they completely different than my niece. Because the mother's family raises the child, and we got to raise the child. I call her the child. We got to raise her, and she more Mitchell than all of us. She more Mitchell than all of us, wrapped up into one. You know, she ain't no joke, not at all. But can joke, you know. But still, I can still see she's still kind of navigating and learning this and that. Ultra liberal, save the whales, socialism, communism, you know, pronouns, all of that. Just sickening. Racism. She started a Black Lives Matters group on Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. You know, she into all that stuff and anti-Trump, you know, all that. Because you can tell she's been brainwashed by the school she go to. She tell me the curriculum and some of the stuff she be studying, the books she be reading. I be like, that's indoctrination. That's indoctrination because all y'all agree with it, or all y'all think it's cool and nobody protests it. It's still indoctrination. But as I said before, if that's what they want, they can have it. If I don't like it, I go somewhere else. You know, that's how I look at things. They can have it. If I don't like it, I go somewhere else. So Yeah, that's that. That's life. That's life in the streets. That's life on the playground. That's life in the city. And I love every minute of it. I love every single minute of it. Woo! I'm about to splice that video down and send it to the people. Send it to my sister and my niece. Yeah. I feel good. I feel good. I'm gonna get home, take a shower. Of course, weigh myself, take a shower. I may just throw a little something in my stomach. It depends on what time it is though. I'll probably just go get a burrito. I'll probably just go to Cha-Cha's and get a burrito and not overthink it. Because I do love those burritos. And I got enough, God knows there's enough chips and stuff in the at home in the cupboard. Left over from last time my mother got some. And I got some chili cheese Cheetos and some kettle barbecue. I always call it the Stater Brothers brand, but it's Craven. I think Craven is another brand that makes like a knockoff potato chip. They used to have Craven Doritos. I can't find them no more. Every time I go in there, they don't have them. And they'd be like a lot cheaper than the regular Dorito, which is $5-6 a bag now. I remember when Doritos first came out. So, got a bunch of those in there, chips. I got some Tiki Punch. Wish I had Kool-Aid, non-carbonated, but it'll be okay. A lot of ice in it. You know, yeah, I think I'm gonna do a burrito. Don't gotta think about it too much. I got chips, watch the game, settle down, cool out. Game's over. Go down and spend some time with my mother. And get the hell and go back home tomorrow. See, I get the hell out of here, go back home tomorrow, and it's right back to work Monday. It's right back to work Monday. And I should have like 22 hours PTO because I completed did 8 hours per pay period, finished the pay period. And I don't know if I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. Had a perfect pay period, perfect attendance. Didn't miss no time, didn't miss no hours. Didn't miss no time, didn't miss no hours. I was thinking, I'm so not used to having people on this, that when I turned it around to show her what I was doing, she like stepped up and waved, you know, because people, I'm not, no. I just distinctly said, yeah, get out of there. I just, you know, I don't know. I'm just that way. You know, I just don't want nobody in it. I don't want to be responsible for nobody being in it or a part of it. It's all me, 100%. I do with it what I want. Nobody else can say anything about it or gripe or say this, take me out. Oh my God, take me out. Oh, I look terrible, take me out. I don't want to be on this. Don't shoot me, don't. I learned, I just cut the line. I was like, all right, I gotta learn. It kept getting hit and hit and hit and it hurt. So I said, all right, I learned my lesson. I gotta stop taking pictures of other people. And if I do, I can't publish them, you know, without their consent, which is logical if you think about it. But the way the internet is now, it's not that way. You know, I guess you could say that maybe I knew it was gonna change to where it's just gonna be, you know, whatever. Public is public. Get your picture taken on the internet, but back then, you put people's picture on the internet. Oh my God. You know, nobody knew what it meant. You know, the circumstances or the unintended consequences of it. So people was like leery. At Artists and Entertainment, I took some pictures of people and I posted them on the internet. And these was liberal, you know, these was progressive young people. But the internet was so new, they was like, no. And I learned my lesson slowly. But eventually I got to the point where I eliminated everybody. out of my life. I eliminated just about everybody out of my immediate life. I don't depend on nobody. Or especially in the creative sense. I mean, I should have stayed there. Should have went that far, but to the creative sense, man, where if I'm creating, I can do what I want, it's mine. You know, Jeffery TV, damn it. I take so much pride, so much energy. It's so important to me. It's mine. Can't nobody tell me shit about it. That is so important to me. That's, I don't know, it's so important. I need to probably make a podcast going deep into why that's so important, because there has to be a reason deeper than what I probably can think of. But anyway, I'm getting close to HOME, getting close to the whereabouts of the home base of the undisclosed location. I feel my ankle starting to tighten up a little bit or get weird from the walking. May have to put a plantar fasciitis insole in these shoes. These are new ones. I bought three. Hey, you, I ain't seen you in a while. I bought 3 pairs of the same ones. It was on $9.99. So I was like, give me 3 pair. Wore the first pair out. And so I said, all right, enough is enough. It's enough is enough when rocks start getting in your shoe from the bottom. And I was like, okay. And it's probably enough when you're walking and the bottom is so slick that any water makes them feel like complete, no grip at all. Just complete hydroplane or whatever, just no grip. You could fall, it's real easy. But anyway, so we're here swinging on y'all 2 times. For me, for the funk. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, there shall be no other. And for every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom, in this or in any universe that ever was, is, or will be. The totality of it all, theory of universe. Hypothesis of all as one. My name is Jeffery.